Hi, it's Rachel, and this is Species of the Day. And it finally snowed outside.
So yeah, it finally snowed, and I'm glad I'm out of there because now I can stop squinting at everybody. So today on Species of the Day, we're going to be talking about snow owls, or snowy owls. Whichever way you want to call them, they're still the same. Snowy owls are making headlines this year because of their high population numbers, moving them down further into the south for their winter migration routes. Usually snowy owls only go down to the Canadian border, but this year they've come into my neck of the woods, the Midwest region. The snowy owls have come here, and I am so excited. I really want to go out and see one. It seems that their high population numbers is due to them having extra food sources up in the tundra where they spend their summer. As you can see on this map from ebird.org, this is a map for snowy owls, and every purple square is a spot where at least one snowy owl has been seen and posted on the website. Let me zoom in closer so that you can see the Midwest region here. And around the Great Lakes region, we've had some coming down further south, and there's been about 2 of them spotted around my area. I'm in Toledo, and there's been one over by Lake Erie, and then one down south about a half an hour, just out in the middle of a farm field, hanging out. So some other general features about owls, which is also true for snowy owls, is that they have binocular vision like we do. So they have front-facing eyeballs, and they see things by turning their heads. We can turn our heads this much, but they can turn their heads 3/4 of the way around. So they can see behind them just by turning their neck and not their back. Now, an owl can turn its head so much because they have twice as many vertebrae in their neck as we do. Excellent hearing. They can even hear some frequencies that we can't hear. And their wings are designed specially to make their flight silent, unlike my cat. They also have talons, 3 big toes on their feet with sharp talons in order to help them catch and tear their prey apart. Now, the snowy owl is special in the way that they have feathers on their feet, or talons, in order to help keep them warmer because the areas that they usually are in are so cold. The snowy owl gets up to about 28 inches tall. That's about 2 feet, and with that size, they're able to eat up to 5 lemmings a day. Now, the snowy owl's #1 food source is the lemming. The lemming is a small rodent, and so any other small rodents that they'll be able to find around this area is something that they'll be eating this winter. Also on their diet are rabbits, other birds that are smaller than them, fish. But because birds have hollow bones, which allows them to weigh less, these snowy owls only weigh up to 6 pounds. The hollow bones are there to give them the structure and the support they need to fly, but to make them light enough so that they can easily lift off and soar through the air. These snowy owls have a wingspan that is about 5.5 feet wide. So when these owls are flying, their wingspan is going to be from one tip of one wing over through the chest to the other tip of the other wing. Snowy owls don't just say "hoo." They have this sort of high-pitched kind of noise that they'll make and some clacking sounds. So take a listen to a male, a female, Now the thing that I love the most about snowy owls is that they're diurnal. What? Urinal? No, diurnal. So what that means is that they're going to be up during the day. Nocturnal means that they're going to be out at night, and that happens to a lot of owls. Snowy owls can live up to 10 years in the wild. Since the snowy owls spend their summer days up in the tundra where it's nice and flat, when they come down here to winter, they usually find areas that are similar, such as prairies, farm fields, or beaches that are covered with snow, airports, golf courses, those types of places, where they can find a nice high perch in order to look out and find any prey that will be moving around on the ground. If you happen to be out around this area, the Midwest region, and see a snowy owl during the winter, it will most probably be a juvenile, or another term for that is immature. So a juvenile or immature snowy owl is going to be not as white as an adult male snowy owl. The adult males become the whitest. The females, they get more spots or bars that are brown or black. And the juveniles will have even more, almost like jail stripes covering their back of their wings, little spots on their white plumage. And this is an easy way to tell the difference between them. And so because they're juvenile, you have to realize that they can get into trouble just like any other juvenile. And this might come into the form of them not being able to find enough food for themselves, or perhaps getting hit by a car. So if you happen to find an injured bird in your area, remember not to touch it, keep an eye on it, and give a call to your local wildlife recovery center. Now it's January here, and we started seeing the snowy owls at the end of December. But they start their migration from the tundra down south at the beginning of or mid-October. And they'll head back in early spring. They're going to be pairing up, and they are going to make a nest right out on the tundra. It's flat, there's hardly any trees up there anyways, and so usually they just find a little mound across the land, and they will lay from 3 to 11 eggs. They come out like 2 at a time, but still, sitting on 11 eggs is going to be difficult. Now, while the female's sitting on the eggs, the male's going out and getting food constantly whenever the weather is good. And depending on how much food he can bring her is just going to depend on how many eggs she's going to lay and how many of those young are going to survive. Make sure that you pay special attention not to go near these nests, because the snowy owls are very, very defensive of their nests. It's been said that they're so defensive that they'll even attack coyotes and wolves that come near their nest. Now the eggs are going to hatch after about a month of sitting on them. They're going to come out nice and tiny little owlets, so cute, nice and gray, and they're going to be fed constantly. And after that first month, they're going to finally be able to come out of the nest and start walking around. But usually they don't start flying until about the beginning of the second month. And when they take off from the nest and are able to fly, this is what we call fledging. So they're fledglings, the birds coming out of the nest, or we can say that they fledged the nest. And this is a term that is used for all birds. So snowy owls are protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, which means that killing or possessing these owls is illegal, which will result in penalties, jail time, and fines. And that's everything I have on snowy owls. I've made this into a playlist so that you can check out some more information on snowy owls. Since I haven't been able to find one yet, in order to get some great video, I'm going to link you to some other videos that have some great footage of snowy owls. That's all from me today. I hope you learned something about snowy owls, and I hope one's in your area so you can get a chance to see it. And I'll see you next time.